The title of it was Priorities during this European lockdown. And so they asked, what is it do you need to keep you sane? What is it you need to hold on to? What is it that will help you maintain your equilibrium through all of this? And so they went through some different countries. Now for the Belgians, they need to hold on to their friteries, where they make these French fries. And the article even went to say, to shut down Belgium's French fry stands, you shut down the soul of the nation. So for the Belgians, it was French fries, being able to buy them. For the French, of course, keeping stores open as we are doing here, but for them, it was wine stands. For them to keep open the wine stands was essential to help them maintain their equilibrium and all that. And I can certainly understand that. Some of these wine stands were even offering what they were calling survival wine packs, where you could buy 6 to 12 to 18 bottles of wine at one time to be able to maintain your equilibrium. For the Germans, for them, the priority was to be able to rent and buy bicycles. In fact, the whole nation and some of the states authorized that this is essential to be able to ride their bicycles. They might die by that virus, but they're going to look good. They're going to be fit. And now for the Dutch. Leaders have declared that these cannabis stores are the coronavirus priority. Initially, the authorities were going to close these famous, this was news to me, these marijuana-selling coffee shops. But after reconsideration, officials backtracked that and then allowed these coffee shops to remain open, but of course only the carry-out section. But at least everybody could still continue to get their marijuana. And I think we all understand that too. Now, if they were to have asked me that question, what do I need to maintain my balance, to maintain my equilibrium? What's my priority? What do I need to hold on to? I think one of the things I would have said, well, as long as there's some Bombay Sapphire or some Beefeaters or some Tanqueray in the cupboard back there, and even if it gets desperate, I'm willing to go to Gilby's or to Seagram's Gin or Vodka too. But as long as that's in there, I think I'll make it. Now, if they were to have asked that question today to the Pharisees, what was it that the Pharisees needed to hold on to? What was it that they needed in order to keep their equilibrium, to keep their sanity? They probably would have said one of the things that was a main priority is their ideas, their paradigm of what the Messiah should be and what the Messiah should look like. Certainly Jesse, too, from the first reading, he had a distinctive idea, a paradigm of who Samuel was looking for. The Pharisees in the same way. They had this idea that probably the Messiah should come from their ranks, should be rich, should be powerful, should be a Jew that practices very strictly all the laws. And certainly Jesus did not fit into that paradigm for them. And not just in the scripture today, but certainly throughout the scripture, how Jesus just does not fall into that paradigm. Now, if they were to ask all of you in this time of crisis, what are your priorities? What do you need to keep in order to maintain your sanity? What do you need to maintain in order to keep your equilibrium? What do you need to hold on to? I would hope all of us would just simply say Jesus. And it's not just, Jesus, keep me safe, but it's Jesus, help me to be brave. Jesus, help me to get out there when and if needed. Jesus, help me to break down my paradigm of how I think you're working at this time so that I'm totally open to your will. And even if that means putting myself in danger, I'm willing to do that. My experience at Sacred Heart and what all happened there, I can certainly talk from experience that Jesus is what helped me to keep it together, to keep my sanity, to maintain my equilibrium in a time when just everything was being shaken. And I wanted to close the door and just pretend like none of it happened. But with putting my priority in Jesus, it was, no, Kevin, you gotta keep getting out there. You can't hide yourself. You can't pretend like it's not happening. You gotta put yourself what's going to be an uncomfortable and a dangerous position. But if you're believing in me and you're going to break down your paradigm of how you think I'm going to work in this situation, you got to get out there. You got to get out there. So that Jesus, how many nights I, in bed, would just talk with Jesus about everything and question. But yet he truly was my sanity, my equilibrium. You know, in that article, the end of the article with what the Italians, poor people at this time, what they needed. Their simple answer was just to be able to buy a printed newspaper. I hope for all of us, as we think about what our priorities are, what we need to hold on to, what we need to keep our sanity, what we need, what helps us to maintain our equilibrium, is just as the Italians in simply saying that, and we can also just all simply say, it's Jesus.
Amen.